I love Star Eater.
Star Eater?
Yep, Daniel Deluxe Star Eater. That was the song
the
I was
name of the
playing.
band there? Okay.
Composer, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Daniel Deluxe is the composer of the song.
Okay.
Oh man, what a year!
Yeah, as we approach the end of this calendar year, it has been quite the bacchanal for a lot of folks in the video games industry. And by a bacchanal, I mean a complete and utter shit show for the vast majority of what has captured people's attention. That's not to say that every game that's come out this year has been terrible, because obviously they haven't.
No.
But I will say there's a very good reason why people like myself and my kiddo here find ourselves going retro. Nice clamshell.
Whether it be retro or the indie space, a lot of gamers have been kind of fleeing to that particular end of the spectrum of gaming.
Oh yeah, and like kiddo here at you want to slide in and actually say hello, Avery, so people don't think I'm just talking about a specter or a ghost or an imaginary fucking friend. Yeah, because the folks who watch us routinely already know I'm batshit, and I'd rather they not have further evidence that, such is the case. But even kiddo here, she enjoys her games, but like the most mainstream thing she has is Mario Kart 8. But it's fucking Mario Kart. You can't go wrong with Mario Kart.
That's not true. We've been how do I say we've been dealt that hand of we can't go wrong with this, we can't go wrong with that, and somehow, some way, the woke mob has figured out a way to fuck up for everybody.
That's fair. I will grant you that. And I am not. Yes, Lucian, I did get in the mail yesterday the R36S. This is what I was referring to and hinting that I was waiting on getting my hands on. I do have a lot of work to do, however, to get it up and running and optimized. I need to get the latest version of Arcos 2.0 or 2.5, I think it is, and get that flashed onto the SD card. I got to actually probably grab a new SD card because the one that they ship, this is just a good rule of thumb. If you're ever in the market doing these smaller retro emulation station handhelds, the SD card they send it with,
they're always garbage.
You need to replace it ASAP.
They're always garbage.
You got to flash a whole new setup on there. There has been, for me, one exception. And it's the one that I show the most often. It's this Data Frog, this SF2000. This chintzy, cheap little device is the lowest cost point of entry. It's the least capable technically, in terms of its hardware capabilities. It can only handle up to Game Boy Advance. For a guy like me, that's still a ton of functionality. And there's so many games that I have access to finally play through. I've been showing this thing
off. Wouldn't that be capable of playing SP games as well?
SP?
Because like Game Boy SP was essentially the better of the Advance.
Yeah, a handful of them. Not a lot. It can't do a lot of the Advance SP games. Like that came out later in the SP's lifespan. For that, I rely upon my Powkitty. Look, man, this is clamshell design, much like the Game Boy Advance SP. It's got the whole setup, much like it, except it's got the 4 face buttons and the 4 shoulder buttons. Beautiful little unit here for Powkitty V90. Excellent pickup. But I did have to flash a new OS onto a separate SD card, different than the one that this came with. The one it came with is garbage. But the beautiful thing about all these handheld units and systems and devices, kiddo wanted to show off her Nintendo Switch, which she plays a lot of Animal Crossing as well.
What's up, Wigan Keegan?
As well as her Mario Kart. Wigan, greetings, salutations. How you doing? Hey, Lucian, should I guess that was why you were a bit of a phantom yesterday? No, I was a phantom for other personal reasons that I'm not going to get into.
Scuba also said she had or used to have Game Boy Advance SP.
Hold the fort for a minute, kiddo.
I'm just here.
She's like, I just work here. Don't mind me. It's my dad's job.
Yep. The McDonald's worker. I don't use the prices, ma'am.
Wait. What? McDonald's worker? What?
What?
I'm referring to Karens.
Oh, okay.
Oh. I was gonna say that I'm gonna be that Karen. You better give me the discount.
I'd like to speak with your manager.
I'm just here making burgers.
And ma'am, I'd like to launch you into the sun or shove your face first
Game
into
Boy's
the
new
goddamn
tech
fry
NES
nest.
for the win.
Game Boy's new tech NES for the win. We can now, Sam. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a nostalgia flashback. This is my actual Game Boy Advance SP.
I have mine. It's a blue one. It's in my shed. All
With
my
an
other
NES
discarded relics.
With an NES Classic multi-cart.
Nice.
Which was kind of what got me leaning towards doing like the emulator handhelds. And then I've got Fire Emblem as well. But yeah, I've got fucking 4 handhelds here just on my own. And most of it is for emulation. Even the actual official Nintendo product, I've got a Nintendo multi-cart in the damn thing. I like having options.
With Kirby.
Right. Yeah, my Abernick, it comes with PlayStation, N64, PSP, NES, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance.
Nice. Which Abernick do you have?
I forget. It's a little black thing.
Like, is it the horizontal?
It's not. Yeah, it's horizontal. Yep.
Okay, I really dig the horizontal ones. I think that's another reason why I still love my Data Frog.
Also,
yeah.
the Game Boy Color. I'm showing my age.
Scuba, don't worry, I'm right there with you, hon.
I even had that like really old, like the gray one with the fucking like purple, like plum looking buttons.
Are you talking
about the big bulky vertical one?
You talking about the Game Boy Color?
No.
Or
it wasn't even color. It was just like a bulky, like I'll just show you a picture.
Oh, are you talking about the original like toaster oven sized fucking Game Boy?
Yeah.
Oh, they took 4 AA batteries and you were lucky
Yep.
to get 6 hours of life out of that shit. Yeah. Oh, it was bad, Avery. It was horrific. Like, and if you think that's bad, do you remember the Game Gear?
Yep.
6 AA batteries. And you were lucky to get 3 hours of gameplay out of that bitch.
One of these things right here.
Yeah, I fucking remember that.
I had Mega Man on mine.
Mega Man.
Yep.
And he did a lot
The gray bomber.
No reason.
Yep. You Scuba is like, yep, the brick one in black and white. Lucy, I keep breaking my emulators. They're not built for my level of gaming. And Scuba says she bought her kids an NES in April. That's the way to go. Old school.
Yep.
Tetris is the best.
Yeah. You play Tetris on your Switch.
Yeah, Tetris is great.
It's such it's a timeless puzzle game, great little memory jogger, and just gets the mind going, gets you on your toes, prepped to just be twitch and react and think through, limited time solutions for downfalling problems. But we're talking classics. We're talking emulators. We're talking about old school gaming. Because what we have had on offer throughout most of 2024 has been meh at best.
Yep.
Like the biggest, and here's the thing, like, it's not like the majority of games have been terrible. It's that the ones that we tend to get any kind of focus on have been shit.
Yep. Oh boy. I love not having space for my fucking games. It's fun. I gotta move over this mod folder, and it's for Stalker Gamma, which has like over 500 mods in the pack. And the space that it takes up currently just for this one game, you're about to shit. Like, you're literally about to shit a brick when I tell you how much space it takes up.
How much?
I'll tell you here in a minute.
It's going to be bad.
We are currently sitting at 184 gigs.
Holy God!
Yeah.
This cheap little laptop that I'm using only has a total capacity of 128 gig of memory. Like, yeah, there's SD cards that have more space on them than my fucking laptop. But this thing is supposed to initially or ostensibly be kind of a productivity office style laptop.
How about Atari? I never had an Atari.
Ooh, old school with the joystick. I remember that. Scuba, it was actually my first game system, was an Atari 2600 with Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and Pole Position and Pong.
Hey, Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Oh, you have the one, you're Lucy, and you're talking about the one that used just the toggles. Like it had preloaded games on it, and you used the little like silver, dongles, like switch up and down into which game you wanted to play. That one, I think that was the 5800. I could be wrong. I never had that Atari. Scuba says, I had a Gen X mom and she came built in with an Atari and Duck Hunter.
Nice.
Fucking laughing dog. How many times?
Duck Hunter.
How many times did you want to push the fucking light gun against the screen and shoot that dog in the face?
Yeah.
For laughing at you for missing.
12 gauge.
Yeah. Nintendo Light Zapper should have the Nintendo 12 gauge for that dog. You have no idea what we're talking about.
Nope. Lightning gunner.
All right. But look, we had it the best coming up with all these systems. Growing up and watching the technology advance and change and create more possibilities.
And then eventually descend.
Right now we're kind of on a downswing, and it's almost like there's so much freedom of capacity and capability, but we're completely lacking in creativity.
I think from what I read, CDPR, the guys that are in charge of The Witcher and Cyberpunk, just buckled down and realized that the DEI is not working for Witcher 4.
No, it's not gonna. If they push that shit, they're gonna watch their beloved franchise crash and burn into the fucking ground. Duck Season? Oh, it's a VR game. I don't have VR.
I do. I've got a Vive sitting right behind me. I just haven't plugged it up, but I do have a VR system.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never tried that.
It's different.
I've always been worried that I would end up getting like motion sick or something.
You might. I'm not gonna lie. Like after playing a little bit of VR, like your depth perception gets a little fucked up.
Yeah, I'm already fucking blind as
like
that might not
like
be
you'll literally start looking at your hands and stuff like as you were in the game. Yeah, like is this real? Like I'm not joking. I did that probably like a week after. I'm like everything felt weird.
Pull a Keanu Reeves. Wow. Yoinked it from my uncle. Nice. Very good, Sam.
Nice.
Yoink that shit whenever you can.
Yes.
Yeah, like the first system that I had where I had more than a handful of games was a Nintendo. Like I said, my brothers and I, we had an Atari 2600. And we had a handful of games, but not a ton. The Nintendo we had for several years, and we ended up just getting more and more games for it. Yeah, VR, like you said, brother, I would probably be fucked up for a few days after trying that out.
Oh, dude, it messed with me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, where did you hear or read about CDPR kind of
disaster? Dr. Disaster put a video out of it, and I seen that on the thumbnail.
Okay, I'm only like a day and a half behind on the Good Admiral's videos.
Yep.
Remember to dance. Fucking love that dude. Gunner, back off, dude. Jesus. He's a fucking mook of a dog. Worms on PC. Wiegand, I love Worms.
Yeah, I used to own all those. I think I have them on Steam.
It's a turn-based kind of side-scrolling war game. Avery, I'll show you. I will show you Worms.
Super fun.
She's got like no clue. 90% of the games we're talking about. And here is Dr. Disaster. Here's what we're talking about with the dancing. Seeing. All right. Beautiful reference, Lucian. First,
The holy hand grenade
shalt
of
thou
Antioch.
offer the holy pin. Then shalt thou count to 3. 3 shall be the number of the counting. The number of the counting shall be 3. 5 shalt thou not count, neither counting thou 4, nor counting thy only to 2, unless proceeding then to 3. 5 is right out. Once the number 3, being the third number, be reached, lobest thou the holy hand grenade of Antioch toward thy foe, who, having been naughty in my sight, shall snuff it. Amen. Amen. Right. 1, 2, 5. 3, sir. 3. I've seen that movie a few times.
Yeah.
Gunner, piss off. This is Worms.
Aye, Chief. Aye, Chief. Aye, Chief. Aye, Chief. Aye, Chief. Aye, Chief.
Get the little
Aye. Aye, Chief. Here's some pain.
grenade.
Super rock.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's possibly one of the best games out there. It's so goofy. I'm not gonna watch this,
Oh,
but
it's silliness.
Noise.
Yeah, that's when the worms move. You can hear that squeaking.
Every time.
Yup. Well, almost every version of Worms, they sounded like that. Now, what's really vital about Worms today, and why I loved it, is it's not just about pummeling your opponent teams until they die. You can eliminate enemy worms by just knocking them off the map, or knocking them into the water, or eliminating them from the field of battle. It's not just about straight up dealing damage. If you destroy the environment with weapons, you can see you can hollow out the ground underneath them, drop them right off the map. Oh no!
Elmo.
Now,
3, 2, 1.
grenade.
Fatality.
Not clear.
Perfect.
Yeah, Worms is fun.
definitely a classic.
I say.
Wheaton says graphics recent from my memory. There have been some newer Worms games. I know there was a Worms Armageddon for the it was a re-release. Was it on Xbox?
I believe it was. There was several different ones.
Right. One of my favorite aspects of that game was just how silly it was. As I recall, the folks who made Worms also made a game on the PlayStation 1 called Hogs of War, which was a 3D based, similar turn-based war game, but with pigs instead of worms. And it was actually like 3D maps and whatnot. I never played it though. I should probably try to get a hold of that for one of my emulators, just so I can try that shit. But these older games, the whole reason that we love so many of these older games is because they still stand up today. They're still fun. They're enjoyable games with a really engrossing gameplay loop. And they're better than 90% of the slop that we've been served in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some hit and misses, but
Lucian, wasn't the subtitle something about swine? It may have been. Hogs of War. I can look it up real quick.
Paperboy and Street Fighter. Yep. Mortal Kombat.
Paperboy!
Yeah, I mean, a game like Doom, we wouldn't have a majority of the first-person shooters that we have today without it,
No.
or without Wolfenstein.
Right, we'd be nowhere with that entire genre. And Lucian, it wasn't a subtitle. The game was just called Hogs of War, but the cover art image was a helmet born to grill. Which is a beautiful reference to Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, if you ask me. It's obviously what they were going for.
We wouldn't have things like this.
Quad shotgun. Yup. Brutal Doom. Now, the Cacodemon is vegan. In Doom 1, like when I was younger, the first time playing Doom, it was pretty horrific just suddenly coming across those fuckers.
Yep. Nice.
Lucian, is that for Worms?
Are you talking about Worms? Is that like on is that on Steam or like? Oh yeah, he's right. They are all on sale right now.
Nice.
For like $2, $3, $4, $5.
Dude, that's a pretty good deal.
Whole Worms collection, which is normally the retail price is $278, but
he's saying Hogs of War's on there too.
It's going for $46.26.
Damn. Ooh. God, was that your elbows, kid?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
By the way, this is all free right here.
Which one is this? Is this Brutal Doom or?
This is Project Brutality. There's Brutal Doom and then there's Project Brutality.
Oh.
They're kind of the same, kind of not the same, because one offers more weapons and demons. The other one is just the original, but still offers quite a bit. I think they're like different creators.
Oh, okay. Different modders and programmers. Finish them. And there. Yeah, we
Well, I mean, it's called Project Brutality for a reason.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Miss Luck,
how's it going, Miss Luck? Yeah, for sure. Good to see you, though.
Yeah, it was definitely nice of you to pop on in. Yeah, it did look Lucian like they added the Duke Nukem boot to the face.
Believe so. You can kick demons in the face and in the nuts. Zombies mostly.
Nice. I'll be right back. I gotta hit the loo.
There is also Brutal Wolfenstein as well.
Nice.
I just work here.
That's what I tell people when I go to work. I don't get no drama. I just work here. Leave me alone.
I get paid minimum wage. I want a raise. They won't give it to me.
Skip to the loo, my darling. Scuba. Oh man, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of gems out there if you go looking for them. Like as far as like the modding space and the indie space, there's a lot of different games out there. A lot better than most mainstream titles that come out.
All right, I'm gonna take this up to the garage for a couple minutes, kiddo, to grab a smoke.
And I will just be sitting here gaming.
You're gonna chill on your Switch for a minute. All right. I have done it right. She is a gamer.
There's Brutal Wolfenstein.
Well, you know, Scuba, in many ways, Kiddo is a lot like me. In many ways, she is herself, a gamer. She is artistically inclined. She's a lot more skilled than I am in terms of visual artistry. But she does drawings and limited animations in an effort to tell a story. So, she might do a couple of movie scenes. Die, Nazi, die!
I've played this on stream before. It's pretty
Oh,
fun.
have you?
Yep. I don't know if you've seen that right, but he took the axe off the knight
He
here.
took the axe
with the
and
halberd.
threw it in the back of that dude's head?
No. He threw it at the chandelier and it dropped on the Nazi.
Dude, nice.
But even like the enemy variation and weapon variation is amazing. As another of my unnecessary asides, go look up the weapon called the Guten Tag. Probably misspelled it. Miles is like me too and loves music. Nice. But yeah, like the variety of weapons, variety of enemies. They did the game justice when they made this.
Looks like there's a couple of Nazi lab scientists too.
Yeah. Like weird, crazy, like supernatural weapons that the Nazis made you can pick up. Really cool stuff. Even like modern, or not modern, but World War II era weapons, like more than just the couple of guns you got in the base game. You have like Panzer, Faust, and MP or STG 44s and Kar 98s, stuff like that. It's really cool to have that variety, though.
Yeah, because I know, like from the original Wolf, wasn't it only like 3 or 4 weapons?
Yeah, you had like the MP40, the minigun, the handgun,
And a knife.
and the knife. But I think that's about it, honestly.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 weapons. Wasn't great. All right, Miss Luck, we will see you.
Yeah, take care, Miss Luck. Good seeing you. They even had a Brutal Strife, which is another one. They had like Brutal Strife, Brutal Heretic.
Heretic. I played a lot of that back in the day. Heretic and Hexen. Jesus, that's a clusterfuck. Oops, explosives up your ass. Oops, you're on fire.
I love they used the Empire Earth theme when they were playing this. It was like the first Empire Earth game. It was like the main menu intro music.
Never played it.
You never played Empire Earth? Man, that's
Nope.
a classic. That was back when you went to like Best Buy to buy the fucking PC games. Or like Walmart or somewhere and you bought it in the box.
Okay, this is a computer game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never a big computer gamer. I was always more of a console kid. I've always
Here's
been.
the intro. They upscaled the video.
History, few are given the power
This
to
is
control the
Empire
destiny of their
Earth.
fellow man. Tribal chieftains and powerful shaper.
So it's an RTS game, and you basically you have like your campaigns, and they're all set in different time periods. But if you play the regular skirmish, you can continue and forward and advance your like age with like your own army. So like you can go from being cavemen to World War II soldiers to cybernetic soldiers in the future to like
Okay,
you
so
progress through time.
there's a time scale evolution.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Admirals and captains.
Fetch me my brown pants.
Generals and statesmen.
Going for the whole patent look.
Warriors and tyrants.
Damn, they really do go over the whole stretch of time, don't they?
Yep.
Gives whole new meaning to the whole Fallout line. War never changes.
Right.
Empire first.
He said we weren't allowed to have a console, and he wouldn't buy one until the blades of grass on the console moved. Wow.
No idea.
Mm. The more advanced your warfare, the fewer eyeballs you will have.
Yeah, we were talking about there was a chain gun, the MP40, the pistol, and the knife. That was like the only 4 weapons in the base game.
All right, Scoot. Oh, wait. Yeah, you can move those, kiddo. Oh, hold on. Get the collection out of the way here. That's the phone. Boy. Yeah, no problem, kiddo. Yeah, but when it came to consoles, Scuba, like I came up, kind of upgrading or updating a year or two after each console had been out. Like the only time growing up that my family got a system the year it came out was the Super Nintendo. My mom went to Kmart in the town that we lived in. This was 1982, so I was 10 years old. She went to Kmart, and because they were sending out flyers advertising for Christmas season, the Super Nintendo was going to be available for sale. But the flyer came out in September a good 2 months before, like 2 or 3 months before the actual system was gonna launch. Yeah, I know I'm aging us,
God, Kmart.
but she went there to the layaway department with the flyer in hand and told them, I want to put this thing on layaway. And I was with her when she went to go start the layaway on this thing. And the manager tried giving her guff and giving her a hard time, saying, we don't have the units in store. We can't do layaway on something we don't actually have. And she said, hey, buddy, your store's policy says that if it's in the advertising flyer, I can put it on layaway. Do you really want to argue with me as often as I come here? Every school year, I have 3 boys who I have to bring to this store for new clothes for the school year. I know you, Bruce. I've been coming here for years. This was not like, I hate to say it, my mom was on the verge of having a Karen moment. But here's the difference. This manager was not a stranger to my mom. She knew him because she was in that Kmart with us constantly. For the start of the school year shopping, for Christmas shopping, for Easter season shopping. Whenever is he off to face the cat again? Yeah, Lily might have the zoomies. From when they started. Yep. And so my mom was like, Bruce, I'm not going to be able to ever have the chance to have a bulk of $200 and change for taxes to cover this thing. And I want to get this for my boys. So, oh yeah, younger folks in the chat or watching later will be like, what the hell was layaway? Layaway was effectively, you put down a small portion of the total price of something up front, and you did not get the item. But each week or 2 weeks or once a month, you could arrange it with the store's layaway department. You would come in and put a little more money down towards the full purchase price of the item. And then once you finished paying it off, they gave you the item in question. Now, this required that they hold that item aside in a storage locker or unit or cubby in their layaway department. We were there often enough that we had our own locker in their layaway department at that Kmart because we were always there getting things that we needed for the house. Yeah, Lucian, exactly. It's an older, more, I think, beneficial form of pre-purchase or pre-order. Except you could get stuff on layaway that it wasn't pre-ordered. It was there in store. You just couldn't afford to pay the whole price up front. But you could put down a percentage and they would hold it aside for you. They would put it in in a temporary cubby. And like I said, my family were there often enough for this stuff, but we had our own locker, our own cubby in their storage for our stuff on layaway. Most years, right around late July, early August, our mom would take me and my brothers there to start putting our next year's school clothes and shoes and coats and whatnot. If we needed a new coat the next winter, we would go in late July, early August and start doing layaway then for the entirety of a full purchase. So that a week before school started, she just finished paying off the layaway account and boom, we'd have our stuff. It was budgeting. It was smart budgeting. Reservation, possibly, Lucian. I'm not certain. Yeah, that could probably be what the term was there in the UK. It's a tremendous practice. And the wonderful thing about layaway was that they did not charge interest. It wasn't like purchasing something on a credit card that you would then have to go pay for later or have repossessed. But there was no interest charge back in the day with Kmart's layaway, which was why it was superior to the layaway that you would have at places like Ames or back in the day, Walmart. In order to compete with Kmart, they also started doing layaway, but they charged interest on their layaway. It was low. It was like, I think, 2 or 3% interest, but it was in order for them to make it profitable. Well, because Kmart didn't charge interest on their layaway program at all, Walmart really couldn't compete with their layaway program. Sadly, Kmart's distribution partnerships and contracts, they were not great, and Walmart was able to eventually end up just kind of pricing out most Kmarts in areas where they competed head-to-head anyway. Part of what made Kmart different was that most of their merchandise, most of their products were either American-made or Canadian-made. They tried to keep things somewhat more local in terms of their product availability. They did carry merchandise from China, Thailand, Taiwan, Indonesia, what have you. But for the most part, they tried to carry American-made merchandise. So it was a little bit more expensive sometimes, depending on what department you were shopping. Now, when they did try to reduce their prices, they did not have the same distributors and suppliers that Walmart had contractual agreements with. So the variety of merchandise on offer at Kmart became really subpar, and that gave them another losing hand to the point where they had to start charging interest on their layaway program. That killed off a lot of people's interest in using layaway through Kmart, and that ultimately ended up killing the layaway program. My whole point being, to kind of cycle back to the beginning of all this, that for Christmas in 1992, the year it came out, my brothers and I got a Super Nintendo brand new. And it was the only time that I have gotten a system brand new. I was 10. Every other system I've ever purchased or gotten a hold of has been a year or two at least behind schedule. Works for me. Doing all right, kiddo?
Yeah.
You're playing. Oh, you're playing Mario Kart. Lucian, what is hire purchase? Never heard of that.
I got all gold. I won.
Nice.
I won the game.
I win.
Every time I play it. Alright, time to go have some cheap raccoon stealing my money.
Tom Nook.
Yep.
You bastard.
Nobody likes Tom Nook.
Of course we don't. He's a bastard.
I swear. Why am I paying to build these people's houses if you want a better island? I don't. I want to go shake cherry trees and build snowmen. You're the one who wants a better island and KK Slider.
Tom Nook's a slumlord.
Tom Nook's a crook. Stealing all of my money. I want my money.
I hope Brother Cortex is all right. Not sure what happened to him.
Internet cut off?
No, he had to turn off his camera and mute his mic.
Nobody likes. I have my morning announcements.
Oh. Okay, Lucy says, you get the item, but you pay in installments, but you don't own the item until you've paid the full amount. If you fail to pay the full amount, you forfeit the made payments, something like that. Or you forfeit the down payment. Okay. Yeah, depending on which store, which retailer you went through with layaway here in the States, it was much the same way where if you did not or could not make the payments, you forfeited a percentage plus the down payment. I think it was for Kmart, it was called a surrender fee. With Kmart, the surrender fee was 20% plus your down payment. With Walmart, the original surrender fee was 50% plus your down payment. And over time, over several years, they slid that down until ultimately, I think Walmart's layaway program ended their program. It was like a 5% surrender fee plus the down payment. It was cheap if you ultimately had to kind of forfeit or surrender the opportunity or possibility.
Sorry about that, y'all. I'd check on Lily. She's not feeling good.
Uh-oh. Kitty's not doing well. Do you need to take her to the vet?
I don't know yet. She keeps scratching at her ear, so yeah.
Oh, I wonder if she has, if she's got an ear infection.
That's what I think.
Boy. Well, I mean, if you need to,
No, it's nothing like, I mean, she's doing all right. I just want to check on her. She's not like horrible or anything.
okay. Yeah, and Scuba brings up that, yeah, Walmart also got rid of the price match, which, I mean, that was another thing that kind of killed off Kmart. Was that every time Kmart could try to undercut or undersell Walmart, Walmart would just be like, yeah, we can soak up the cost and the loss. And that also ended up driving Kmart into the ground. But there was a department store in New York, in Western New York, called Ames. And we also did a lot of shopping there. When I was 13 or 14, and they started carrying, they had not previously had their own dedicated video game area or section. But I remember when they did finally put in their own gaming area at the back of the store, they were stocked up for about a week and a half, and then they were just wiped out because myself and my buddies and pretty much every kid in my age group and of my type of dork or nerd, we would flood in there, snatch up everything, and then they were just left with their hands going, what the fuck? We did not think there was going to be this much demand, and they got wiped out quick. Like I remember shortly after they started carrying PlayStation and N64 games, they couldn't keep shit on the shelf. It was just gone.
I think a Ghost started taking it because of how quick they were selling out. Ghost got jealous.
Well, it wasn't Ghosts, kiddo. It was a bunch of nerds I went to school with. We were just like, get it now. And it's also where we ended up going when my buddy Paulie broke his N64 controller over my fucking head.
What?
Yeah, I'll tell you about that. You get stuck with douchebags like GameStop. Yeah, you end up exactly, Scuba. You end up with people who they clamp down like vicious little control freaks in their territory, in their domain. I just mentioned my buddy Paulie breaking a controller over my head. I had been over there along with our buddies AJ and Jimmy, and we were doing a free for all GoldenEye 007 marathon tournament, kind of just ongoing death match. And Paulie, my best friend growing up, he got sick and tired of getting teamed up on and obliterated because it was his system, his game, his controllers that we always were playing on. We'd go over to his place to play these tournaments of just deathmatch on 007. And he got pissed because for like the fourth or fifth time, I convinced Jimmy and AJ to like team up with me, and we were going to hunt down and we were going to murk him because he was the best. He had so much extra time to play the game and practice it because among the four of us, Paulie and I were the only two who had their own N64 and copy of the game. But I didn't play it a lot because I had been basically with the 64. I was obsessing over Shadow Man at the time. And so I wasn't playing GoldenEye a lot. I wasn't very good at first-person shooters to begin with. So we'd go over there to play, deathmatch, and Paul would just destroy us unless we teamed up to get him first. And after convincing the other two guys to team up and wipe him out like 6-7 times in a row, he just turned to me. He's like, "You're an asshole." Fucking bashed me upside the head with his controller.
You were all insane.
And yeah, we were teenagers. What do you want? Do I seem like an uncivilized person?
Man, douchebags at GameStop, let me tell you. That's one thing, especially now, like, I don't understand how they don't get, like, humbled with the idea that they're going to wind up getting Netflix at some point.
Oh, they will. They will. Do you remember Gamefly?
Yep.
Okay. We have seen a Netflix style service attempted for video games. I've always been curious why it failed. Like I'm not sure why that didn't.
Probably had something to do with licensing of some kind.
Probably because a lot of licensed games, if you no longer have the license, you can't distribute it, you can't sell it, you can't do anything with it. I think they also probably had a lot of damaged game discs coming back to them.
Yeah, that too.
But you look at things like Game Pass or, Nintendo's online catalog, everything going digital. I hate that everything is going digital.
I do and I don't.
I like having physical media so that I can say I own this. But
here's why I don't is because the game can frequently get updated.
Right.
With the proper files, bug fixes, patches, all that good stuff.
Right. That's where digital is great. Hell, even with these things, if there's a ROM hack or a new version of an older game, I can pop out the little SD card, plug it into my computer, and put the new version on this device, and boom, I'm down and away. Same with this thing.
Right.
Same ultimately is going to be with this thing. So yeah, I may not be a huge fan of digital first, but it has its uses.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing like nostalgia picking up games and pre-ordering them and all that stuff, but like, I don't know. It's just, I like the idea that, you can do a lot more with digital. The only problem I have with it is like companies can manipulate on how they go about things on the fly.
Yeah.
And it can be a poor excuse to, like for the whole live service games, they, like with battle passes and all that. And like, there's no room for like new ideas when it comes to like new games and innovation. They just like Rockstar, for instance. They've been milking the cow of GTA 5 for so fucking long. And GTA 6, I'm hearing, is going to be a mad woke flop.
Yep, there's a lot of scuttlebutt about that. Yeah, they did. Like the streaming game services, they failed due to signal problems, or they had stuff that it was just oversaturated. But yeah, GTA 6, there are rumors that it is going to be a pandering bunch of bullshit. Nobody signed up for that. Nobody wants that. But I think back to, we've talked about this before. Look at when these games started getting made and put together. It was during the height of that nonsense, determining the cultural conversations. And they never thought to stop, pivot, and try to come back to a sensible center. And that is going to end up being the downfall, I think, for GTA 6, is because they had so much time that this game was in development and that it was being written and developed and programmed during the height of that whole crowd of shrieking Karens and Two-Spirit, LGLMNO, PhD, TV, IQ, PCU, RSVAI people, the Rainbow Brigade, absolutely choke-holding culture through that period. That's what we're going to end up getting served with GTA 6. And people are not going to want it. They're going to take one look and go, oh, do you hate money now? Because you're not getting my money.
Yep. And see, that's the thing, though. Even like Call of Duty was kind of going under that umbrella as well.
Yeah,
because like when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remake or remastered or whatever you want to call it, when it came out, it shipped out with a bunch of like LGBT flags and rainbow flags and all that shit for the calling cards for multiplayer. There were no national flags until like a couple weeks after, when people were questioning the idea that there were only these LGBT flags at first.
Right, I remember you bringing that up. I had forgotten. But yeah, to have that overriding ideology when it's like, this is a war shooter. If I'm going to see a flag, it should be someone's national flag before anything.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, though, like even through the game, like there's a map in the multiplayer. It was I believe it was an American embassy, and like all you seen was a bunch of burnt flags. You didn't see any flags that were hung up. It was just nothing but burnt flags on the ground or tore up, and it was like, okay. And then like through the campaign, you start to realize, like, spoilers, people that I've played the campaign on my channel, but through the campaign, you go through a point in time where you're working, like it was Task Force 141 working with Shadow Company, which was like an American PMC group, private military contractors. And you had to deal with Philip Graves and General Shepard. Well, here's the thing, though. They're both white American guys and end up being the bad guys. They end up being the main antagonist bad guys. But you have this like mix of nationalities that are like all combined in the Task Force 141, but the American white guys are the bad guys. And I picked up on that. I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? This wasn't about this before in Call of Duty. We had American good guys that were white and black and brown and what have you. And the only good or bad guys that happen to show up at the end happen to be white, blonde, white guys.
Evil alien white man.
I see what you're doing. I'm not stupid.
This is not subtle.
But that was the thing, though, is like, even with like what they did with one of the characters, I'm trying to think of his name. What's his name? He was a white guy before the remake happened, and then they race swapped him. I can't think of his name right now. Gaz. His name was Gaz. He was the guy that was teaching you and training you in Call of Duty 4 during the training position or portion of the game, like telling you to slice melons with a knife and shoot targets. He was one of the SAS operators that you worked with, but he was a white guy in Call of Duty 4 before they remade it. Now, Modern Warfare Remake, he shows up as Gaz, and I'm thinking, but Gaz, he was white, and he died off at the end of the game.
That's okay. So they not only race swapped him,
but they carried this character on from Modern Warfare to Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3.
Is it a name or a title at that point? Like, if it's a title, clarify that.
But the character's name was Gaz.
Yeah, so it's not a title; it's their name.
That was his like call sign, like his nickname.
Okay, yeah.
Like you had Price, Soap, Ghost.
Then that's just straight up. Yep, Lucian just pointed out most Special Air Service are Scotsmen, so they're gonna be white guys.
Don't even get me started on Soap. What they fucking did to him in the Modern Warfare 3 remake was despicable.
I'm guessing I'm glad I don't play these games.
I mean, Soap is a cool character, and they fucking killed him in the worst way possible. And it's not how he died in the third game, like before the remake. You wind up like you're in like a sniper position in the third game because you're going after the terrorist leader Makarov. Well, Makarov realizes that you're onto him, and he has already set explosives in the building that you've used for a sniper position. So you, like your characters, Yuri and Soap is next to you. You're both sniping together. Well, as soon as you get blown up into this building, you fall out of a window, fall into some scaffolding and other stuff. Soap gets injured really, really bad and is bleeding out the entire time. And you're dragging him while Captain Price is defending you. And you're literally going through these streets and Captain Price is blowing shit up, killing people. And then Price and you pick him up and put him on a table and try to resuscitate him. And Soap winds up telling Price that your character knows the terrorist leader and dies on the table while telling Price that. Now in the remake, how they kill him Soap tries to fight Makarov. Now, I don't know what Ghost and the other guys were doing, but during this moment, Makarov grabs him by the arm, sticks a pistol up his chin, and blows his brains out, and gets away. And that's the end of the game. You don't get any retribution or nothing. That's it.
That's a dog shit ending. What?
Yeah, it was so bad. Yeah, I just sat there and looked at the screen like, did that just fucking happen?
Is there an achievement you unlock for rage?
No.
Like, hey, a new achievement unlocked. Fucking with your memories and causing rage because you actually enjoyed this character once before.
Well, yeah, Soap was cool. Not to mention, in the second remake, when you play as him, like before, like the betrayal of Shadow Company and Philip Graves, you play as Soap, and you have like a little bit of banter between Soap and Ghost, which was a cool moment. And it was like, Soap was like surviving and building weapons like shivs and stuff, and Ghost is telling him what to do to survive during that entire time. Yep, he sure did. In the second game, he did. Him and Roach both got shot by General Shepard because they had the dossier that they were looking for, and they were considered loose ends. So General Shepard shot them on their evac, and then burned their bodies. That's what happened in the second game.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, the Shadow Company operators started turning on Task Force 141 while in the midst of a battle in between them and Makarov's guys. So, yeah, I mean, not to mention, Modern Warfare 3 was such a sloppy, how do I put this? A sloppy, lazy pile of dog shit of a game. And why was it a sloppy pile of dog shit of a game? Because they didn't bother doing the cinematic stretch like they normally do with all the Call of Duty games, where it's just like a big Michael Bay movie, but you're in the middle of it and you're shooting things.
Michael Boom Bay.
But here's what I'm getting at, though, okay? During some of these missions in Modern Warfare 3's remake, all they are is lazily scripted DMZ missions from Warzone or DMZ. Like, you literally have these brainless AI that run around with guns that look really cool, but they're stupid as all hell. They're easy to take out and dispatch. And the missions are literally as simple as like, okay, mark these areas for evidence. Blow up 5 helicopters of C4s, stuff like that. Like pointless little like side objective missions.
Fetch quests, more like anything.
Pretty much. And as much as I like the idea of like being in somewhat of an open area and be able to like play it the way I want to play it just didn't feel good, man. It felt like a DMZ mission. Like they just did not care. Not to mention, I think I beat the Modern Warfare 3 campaign in like 4 hours. It was like 3 or 4 hours.
That's pretty short.
Yeah. And mind you, I paid a good amount of money for that like third edition to the story. I think, yeah, I got the Vault edition, which was like the most expensive one. And I was like really defeated. I'm like, this is what the best they could come up with.
Which is pathetic.
But then, like, there's a lot of things, like, even, like, the multiplayer, like, all the skins, like, it pretty much looks like fucking Fortnite on Call of Duty. You've got, like, all these, like, colorful skins that you can buy and purchase. It's like a big, what am I trying to say here? Like a big old microtransaction game. It's all it is. You got all these different skins, which Most skins in the game are like damn near fucking $30.
It's just cosmetics, though, isn't it? Like, this doesn't
Yeah,
actually.
they're all cosmetics,
have
like
mechanics.
weapon skins, character skins. But the problem I have with all these skins is that's how they're making money. And when you want to play a game like a war game like Call of Duty, it takes you out of the immersive combat.
Right, like
You're
I'm
literally
sorry.
looking at like fucking Nicki Minaj running around in a pink outfit with a fucking
Yeah.
machine gun. And it's
Like,
like
Look,
I don't want to see that shit.
I can see one way in which that would be kind of neat is if my opponent was wearing that skin, because Nicki Minaj, I would love to be playing a game and shoot her character in the face because I find her annoying as all get out. But, like, I'm sorry, unless you're allowing me the opportunity to pay to plaster another person, another character with that skin so that I can have the visceral, raw satisfaction of.
Or Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg was another one.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What? You're monetizing celebrity worship, and that has nothing to do with the actual gameplay.
All I know is it hurt. It kind of hurt me on the inside because I'm like, this game does not look good anymore. It looks like a giant, like, wannabe Fortnite.
Yeah, if I wanted to Fortnite, I would play Fortnite.
Like, I want a fucking war game. I don't want to fight fucking Nicki Minaj and Snoop Dogg and, you know, characters from other movies and mangas and animes and all this other crazy shit. Like, I want milsim operators shooting at each other, not make up characters that don't belong there.
Right. Make it make appropriate sense to the environment of the game itself.
That's why I play games like Stalker and I used to play Tarkov, or like other milsims where it's strictly just that. It's not a bunch of skins running around. It's, you know, basically boots to the ground, shooting each other, getting your job done.
Yeah.
Straight to the point.
It's kind of like or similar to I would maybe imagine. Do you remember?
She is. Like Lucian said, wouldn't Nicki Minaj be a big ass target though? Yeah.
Yeah.
She stands out completely. And there are other skins that stand out completely. It makes no fucking sense.
I'm put in mind of certain old school 16 to 32-bit rail space shooters like R-Type and Gradius. If you were to be playing R-Type or Gradius, and all of a sudden a floating, flying Optimus Prime is your vessel, like, that's kind of cool, but Optimus doesn't belong in the middle of a fucking space rail shooter. Oh my god, what am I looking at? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yep.
Fair.
It comes with other stupid shit. It's like you're putting these people in a game that they're never going to fucking play.
Not only that they'll never play, but that they have no appropriate place in.
Oh yeah, and 21 Savage was another skin you could buy.
To use the analogy that I was just talking about, it was like R-Type or Gradius. Optimus Prime in Mack Truck form would make no sense, but there are characters within the Transformers universe that who would make sense, like Starscream or Thundercracker or Turbo Burner. They would make sense because they are fighter jets, and their Cybertronian forms were starfighters. That would make sense within the confines.
I would rather see something like this.
They just want little kids
where it makes sense. They look like fucking operators that belong there.
Yeah, they look like warfighters.
You know?
That's appropriate to the environment. You don't put Sonic the fucking Hedgehog in the middle of a military war scenario. You may as well do that at this point. Jesus.
But like, that's the thing, even with like the new Call of Duty that came out recently, Black Ops. There was the whole thing with like the non-binary character that's in the campaign, and it's like, for what?
Right.
Why?
What purpose does this serve?
In a time that none of that was even a thing.
I don't know.
Like, it was literally right around the 90s that the game is set in.
You need to see what Lucy had just said.
Oh, yeah. But that's, which I'm going to save this picture I just looked at. But this is what the players want, man. This right here. That looks fucking dope.
That also looks appropriate for the setting.
Like, that looks cool to me. Which those are SAS there. But yeah, dude. I don't know.
Boy. Well, anywho, I'm probably going to call it a wrap here on my end soon, brother.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta bring something up here real quick. Now that I'm thinking about it. Give me one second.
You definitely would get away with that, Lucian.
Right, Scuba. Like she just said. But here's the thing, though, dude. I mean, Call of Duty is not even like it used to be. Like, I remember back in the day when you got an Xbox 360 and you hopped on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 back in the day. That shit was so unhinged, it wasn't even funny. The chats alone were so unhinged, and the things that people would say to each other, you never thought was possible, like, to fathom. Like, the chats were so toxic, but they were the right kind of toxic. They were meant to be.
It was shit talking.
It was shit talking. It was Call of Duty. That's what Call of Duty was meant for.
That's what. Okay, I'm gonna have a soapbox moment.
Oh, no.
You should listen to this, kid. All right.
Yeah, it's history.
All right. Since time out of mind, guys who gather around competition of any sort, whether it be competitive football, competitive baseball, competitive rugby, competitive even bowling, competitive video game playing, trying to get the high score at the arcade, whether it be trying to outmatch each other, outdo each other on Dance Dance Remix on the freaking digital dance floor, whether it be racing, either on bikes as kids or in cars on the streets as teenagers, young adults, and adults. Whenever you get people together, especially dudes who are trying to compete head to head to see who is the best at the thing, who's going to be the top dog.
Mm-hmm.
Just before the actual competition takes place to prove out who's going to be the best man, there is a time frame known as the shit talk window.
Mm-hmm.
We have always done this. You try to psych out the other guy. You try to get in their head and fuck with their self-confidence. insult them, deride them, get them so pissed off, so infuriated with you that when the actual competition starts, they slip up. They make a mistake. They don't approach the competition logically and competently with their full skill set because you have wormed your way into their head to undermine their confidence and their reason. This is what guys do to each other. It's part of our nature because we are trying to get any advantage position we can. And if there's any possibility that the other person we're going head to head with might be our equal or might actually be better than us, at the end of the day, we need to reduce the advantage they have. And part of that is psychological, and what that entails is shit talking.
Mm-hmm.
Period. This is what guys do to each other, but we recognize it in each other. And there's a degree of respect shared among guys who go head to head in, are you creative with your shit talk? Do I know that you actually suck at this game or this competition, but you've got some of the most creative and hilarious smack talk available? That is its own skill set in and of itself. And even if I don't think you've got the better skill set in the game or on the sport, maybe you're better at me than shit talk, and I can acknowledge and respect that skill set as well. It's competition within competition, and guys are driven almost entirely and purely by competition. It's our nature. Let it happen. Because when you try to put pillows on the walls of the insane asylum that is guys getting together to compete over anything, you're going to either wind up with
Over shitty mic quality.
You're going to be destroyed because we don't care what gets hit or torn apart in our path trying to be the better competitor. Period. It's what we do. It is our nature.
Well, I am going to end the live on this note that 28 years later has an official trailer and is coming out in June.
Oh, dog. God damn it. Avery. You was trying to chew on your fucking switch.
Knock it off.
You may want to charge this in your room or something because he's not going to fucking. Oh, well, he pulled the cord out, so.
Oh,
Muck.
asshole.
But I am going to end live on this note. It's 2 minutes.
Wait, sit here. Sit here.
Auntie, what's going on?
Jimmy, sit still, keep quiet, and do not move from the spot.
Seven, 6, 11, 5, 9 and 20 miles today, 4, 11, 17, 32 the day before. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Don't look at what's in front of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. Men go mad with watching them. There's no discharge in the war. If your eyes drop, they will get the top of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Try to think of something different. Oh, my God, people going lunatic. Moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. 7, 6, 11, 5, 4, 17, 32 the day before.
Jesus.
I can't wait.
That looks brutal.
Yeah. I cannot wait.
Kind of want to see that. I got to do a refresher to watch Days and Weeks. I also have to do a refresher on the Infinite IKEA before next Wednesday. And, oh, yeah. So I happened to mention to Kiddo here that we were going to be doing the Infinite IKEA SCP for the deep dive next Wednesday. And she's like, oh, yeah, is that where they go into the store and it's like they can't find their way out and there's all these people who look kind of like people, but they're not quite people, but they're dressed like the people who work at the store, but they're faceless and they scream and they try to kill you? I'm like, you know that SCP? She's like, yeah, I've watched a bunch of SCP stuff. I'm like, you're 12!
You introduced me to it.
And yeah, she reminded me that I had kind of introduced her to SCP with the Dr. Wondertainment stuff, because some of the Dr. Wondertainment material isn't too horrific, but then she kind of went down a rabbit hole. So she knows about the Infinite IKEA.
Massachusetts isn't real.
And yeah, she says she makes that joke frequently now. As a result, Massachusetts isn't real. It's like, this is my fault.
Yep.
I've done it right.
Usually those two don't go together.
And yeah, they only come after you after the store hours are over.
Yep.
But we'll be diving.
People were like making tribes inside the store.
I am Dave of Home Appliances.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like devolving in the most basic form of humanity.
We shall go to
modern
work
place.
with home electronics.
I'm Karen of the coupons.
Yeah, I think at that point all the IKEA like employees would come to kill you just by saying that. I don't think you'd have to be in off hours for them to come after you.
No. Infinite chicky nuggies.
And Swedish meatballs.
I say Swedish meatballs, actually, because remember, it's IKEA.
Oh.
You sound so disappointed as meatballs instead of chicken nuggets. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my
Or
God.
the bagels.
We shall have the everything bagels that shall reign supreme.
I feel bad for everything bagels. They get blamed for everything.
That's just bad wordplay. I failed you. But that is going to do it from my end, brother.
Yep, same here. I'm probably gonna put up a stream for Stalker 2 here in a little bit. So,
All right, man.
but until then, guys, take it easy. We'll see you all later. And yeah, Infinite IKEA Wednesday.
And remember, just because a game is old doesn't mean you shouldn't play it.
Goodbye, nerds of the internet. We will see you.
Yep, take care, everybody. We are out of here.
Cheers.